Lori Norene Cox was born in San Bernardino, California on June 26, 1973. Her birth marked the beginning of a life that would later be shrouded in both intrigue and tragedy. Details of her early life remain somewhat elusive, with glimpses of normalcy interspersed, with hints of future darkness. Growing up in suburban California during the 1970s, Lori's childhood appeared to be like that of many other children of her time. She played in the sun-drenched streets, attended local schools, and participated in community events. Growing up, Lori was described as a charismatic and attractive young woman, popular amongst her peers. Her high school years were filled with typical teenage experiences, friendships, social gatherings, and the excitement of young love. She seemed to live a relatively ordinary life, graduating from a local high school and later marrying her high school sweetheart. This marriage was seen as the culmination of a fairy tale romance, a picture-perfect start to what many believed would be a happy and fulfilling life. However, those closest to Lori would later recount subtle signs of a more troubled personality beneath the surface. Family members and friends began to notice inconsistencies in her behavior, small cracks in the facade of her seemingly perfect life. Some described her as having an almost insatiable need for attention and admiration. This need often drove her to seek the spotlight, whether through her social interactions or her personal achievements. Others recalled instances of manipulation and a tendency towards dramatic behavior. These traits, while not immediately alarming, hinted at a deeper, more complex personality. These early glimpses into Lori's character would foreshadow the chilling events that would later unfold. Her actions, often masked by her charm and charisma, began to reveal a darker side that few could have anticipated. Despite a seemingly normal upbringing, a darkness lurked within Lori, hidden from the view of most. This hidden darkness would eventually come to light, shocking those who thought they knew her well. Her early life, though seemingly ordinary, laid the groundwork for the chilling transformation that would grip the nation and leave a trail of heartbreak and unanswered questions in its wake. The seeds of her future actions were sown in these formative years, unnoticed by those around her. As Lori matured, her charisma blossomed, drawing people to her. She had an undeniable magnetism that made her the center of attention in any social setting. Yet even then, there were whispers of a darker side, hints of a personality that craved control and attention. These whispers grew louder over time as more people began to see through the veneer of her charm. These early warning signs, though subtle, would later prove to be tragically prophetic. The seemingly minor quirks and behaviors of her youth would evolve into something far more sinister, leaving a lasting impact on all who crossed her path. Chad Daybell, born on November 11, 1968 in Utah, walked a path far removed from the conventional. From an early age, Chad exhibited a fascination with the unknown and the mystical, traits that would later define his life's work. Raised in a devout Mormon family, Chad grew up immersed in religious teachings. His upbringing was steeped in the values and traditions of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which played a significant role in shaping his worldview. However, his beliefs took a sharp turn towards the fringe, embracing doomsday prophecies and unconventional interpretations of Scripture. This shift began in his teenage years as he started exploring apocalyptic literature and fringe religious theories. He became fixated on the end of times, his writings and teachings reflecting a worldview obsessed with impending catastrophes and divine judgment. Chad's fixation grew stronger over the years, leading him to write extensively on the subject. Chad's beliefs extended beyond mere theological musings. They permeated his entire life. His home was filled with religious texts and doomsday literature, creating an environment that constantly reinforced his apocalyptic mindset. He authored numerous books on doomsday scenarios, self-publishing his work and amassing a small but devoted following. His books, though not widely known, resonated deeply with those who shared his apocalyptic vision. His writings often blurred the lines between fact and fiction, weaving fantastical tales of near-death experiences and past lives. These stories captivated his readers, who were drawn to the mystical and otherworldly elements of his work. Chad's followers, drawn to his charisma and convinced of his prophetic insights, hung on to his every word. His ability to articulate his visions with conviction made him a compelling figure in the eyes of his audience. Despite his unconventional beliefs, Chad maintained an outwardly normal life. He participated in everyday family activities, creating a facade of normalcy that masked his deeper obsessions. He married Tammy Douglas in 1990, and together they raised 5 children in Springville, Utah. Their family life appeared idyllic, with Chad often seen as a loving husband and father. Chad worked as a gravedigger and later as a cemetery sexton, occupations that seemed to align with his morbid fascinations. These jobs provided him with a unique perspective on life and death, further fueling his apocalyptic beliefs. To those outside his inner circle, Chad appeared to be a devoted family man and a respected member of his community. He was involved in local activities and was well regarded by his neighbors. Yet beneath the surface, his obsession with doomsday prophecies festered, influencing his actions and setting the stage for a chilling series of events. This hidden aspect of his life would eventually come to light, revealing the dark and dangerous path he had chosen to follow. The paths of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, 2 seemingly disparate individuals with vastly different backgrounds, collided in 2018. Lori, now married to her 4th husband, Charles Vallow, and living in Hawaii, stumbled upon Chad's doomsday writings. She was immediately captivated by his apocalyptic pronouncements and reached out to him, eager to delve deeper into his teachings. Chad, sensing a kindred spirit in Lori, readily welcomed her into his fold. They began communicating regularly, their conversations revolving around their shared fascination with end-times prophecies and the belief that they were chosen by God for a special purpose. Lori, already exhibiting signs of instability and a thirst for spiritual fulfillment, found solace in Chad's pronouncements. As Lori and Chad's relationship deepened, so too did their conviction that they were destined to be together. They believed themselves to be divine beings, chosen to lead a select group of followers through the impending apocalypse. Their conversations took on an increasingly disturbing tone, laced with talk of zombies and the need to eliminate those who stood in their way. Their shared obsession with doomsday prophecies formed a dangerous bond, blinding them to reason and morality. The line between faith and fanaticism blurred, setting the stage for a descent into darkness that would have devastating consequences. As Lori and Chad's relationship intensified, strange and unsettling occurrences began to plague those around them. Their bond seemed to grow stronger with each passing day, but it came at a cost. Friends and family members started noticing changes in their behavior that were both alarming and inexplicable. Lori's behavior grew increasingly erratic, marked by paranoia and grandiose pronouncements about her divine purpose. She began to speak of visions and prophecies, claiming to have a direct line to higher powers. Her once warm and engaging demeanor turned cold and distant, leaving those who knew her bewildered and concerned. She distanced herself from friends and family who questioned her beliefs, surrounding herself instead with those who shared her devotion to Chad's teachings. This new circle of acquaintances only reinforced her delusions, creating an echo chamber that further isolated her from reality. Meanwhile, Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell, expressed growing concern about her husband's relationship with Lori and his increasingly bizarre behavior. She noticed that Chad was becoming more secretive and withdrawn, often disappearing for long periods without explanation. She confided in friends about her fears, sharing her suspicions that Chad was having an affair and that Lori was a negative influence on him. Tammy's friends tried to reassure her, but the unease in her voice was unmistakable. She felt as though her once stable and loving marriage was slipping through her fingers. Tragically, Tammy's concerns would prove to be tragically prophetic. Her health began to deteriorate rapidly, and she often complained of feeling unwell. Despite her efforts to seek medical help, no clear diagnosis was ever made. In October 2019, Tammy Daybell died suddenly in her sleep. The news of her passing shocked the community, and many were left wondering how such a vibrant and healthy woman could die so unexpectedly. While her death was initially attributed to natural causes, suspicions arose when Chad hastily remarried Lori just 2 weeks later, without an autopsy being performed on Tammy. The speed of their union raised eyebrows and fueled rumors that there was more to Tammy's death than met the eye. The circumstances surrounding Tammy's death, coupled with Lori and Chad's suspicious behavior, ignited a firestorm of suspicion that would ultimately unravel their carefully constructed facade. Investigators began to dig deeper into the couple's past, uncovering a web of deceit and manipulation that spanned years. The whispers of darkness surrounding Laurie and Chad grew louder, their actions raising red flags among those who knew them best. Friends and family members who had once been close to the couple now found themselves questioning everything they thought they knew. The stage was set for a tragedy that would send shockwaves across the nation, exposing the chilling consequences of unchecked fanaticism and the lengths to which some will go to protect their twisted beliefs. As the investigation continued, the true extent of Laurie and Chad's actions would come to light, revealing a story that was more horrifying than anyone could have imagined.